Welcome back, AfterBuzzers. I'm so excited that you're here joining me for this breakdown of Get Shorty Season 2, Episode 3 and 4. Okay, guys, we have a lot to discuss. Yago kills the star of the film. Miles has a spiritual encounter, which is really necessary for him right now. But Lewis is finally on to Rick. Guys, we have so much to discuss. Stay with us.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey. It is a one-woman show today. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to have you here with me. I'm your host, Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel, and I'm going to be talking to you about Get Shorty. This show is getting more and more interesting episode after episode. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. We definitely have some special segments for you. As always, I will definitely be talking to you about mobs and movies and bringing you some enlightenment and some education. But before that, let's just go ahead and dive right into my overall thoughts for episode 3 and 4. I thought it was extremely important that we see everything unravel the way it's unraveling, and that Miles is finally coming to terms with the breakdown that he needs to have. It's not even that we need Miles to have a breakdown. Miles needs Miles to have a breakdown. He really needs to just have that moment of, okay, everything around me is crashing, but I need to first recognize it in order to move forward, correct? So I'm very, very excited to see all of that going on with Miles, and I think that it's so exciting that Gladys and Lewis are finally married. But let's just get started at the beginning of the craziness and the drama that we have ahead of us. Yago, sir, what are you thinking? What is going on in your mind? So you guys, I know you know that episode 3 started off really, really rough. You see Miles just coming in bloody, and he's going through a motel. But the big thing there is he ends up missing his own movie premiere, which is Yago. Yago ends up killing the star of the film, Max Kisby. And I feel so bad for poor Max, because it's like, dude was just out of rehab again. But this time it seemed like it was really gonna stick. It seemed like Miles was really doing what needed to be done, to come back to the life that he wanted. But Yago ends up killing the star of the film. He says that he panicked and said it was out of self-defense. And I really feel bad for Rick in this process. Exactly. Like, you see him working on that picture of Rick right there, because Rick is so confused. He went ahead and accidentally dropped Max Kisby's name to Amara, but he was just complaining. Look, you see Ed, he was just complaining that, listen, I don't know what's going on with this kid. I really need him to be here for this premiere, because in order for our premiere to be outstanding, we need the star of the film, right? So he just expresses to Amara that he's not coming to the show. And what does Amara do? What Amara knows how to do best, of course. She gets her mobsters on it, and they end up scaring Kisby to the tune that he shows up to the event, but now he's totally drugged out. And I'm so sad and so terrible. So they're trying to shake him up and get him to come back into things, but Kisby ends up losing his life at the end of that episode, and it really broke my heart, because you see Yago trying really hard to gain his Tia's trust, right? He's trying in every aspect to make things work, but it seems like every decision that he seems to make just blows up in his face, But I am glad that amidst all of this drama, we definitely see that Yago is creating those relationships with the LA bureau of the cartel. So he's starting to set up those relationships that are going to pay off for him, I think, in the long run. So I'm super, super excited to see all of that going on. And it's really crazy, because just going back to Kisby for a second, he didn't realize how serious the situation was. He didn't realize the gravity of the situation, because when Amara's crew busted into his hotel trying to get him to go to the premiere, he was playing with them. He saw guns and he was like, oh, I've been playing with fake guns all day. Like, this is not real. No, it was very real, because you end up getting shot and you ended up dying. So I'm really, really sad that happened the way it did. But we gain relationships, we lose relationships, and let's just kind of transition back to Miles and just going into the next topic for a second, because Miles is really on a journey of his own. We know how important this film is to him, but he still doesn't go to his own premiere. It's an extravagant Hollywood premiere gone wrong, right? And Miles doesn't end up going to his own premiere. What is he doing? Well, in the beginning of episode 3, he comes off bloody. He had just gotten into this accident, and he runs into a bit of a genie of himself, of a little bit of a genie in a bottle, I guess. And her name is Jeannie. She's this wonderful lady who helps him get into his hotel room, well, his motel room. Helps him get into his motel room, and actually recommends a buffet to him. Later on in their trajectory, in their friendship, she talks to him about how she's a crystal healer. And of course, Miles, in true Miles fashion, she says, don't you believe in crystal healers? And he goes, no, very point blank to her face. And she's taken aback by that, right? Because she's like, I really want you to know that people come from all over the world to get a taste of what I'm doing here, to get a taste of how I'm helping people. And Miles is just not buying it. So I'm really excited to see that after a while, she's able to break him down a little bit, because he really does need a moment to come to himself, right? So the beauty of all of this is, while Miles is taking the time to figure out what's going on with him and where things have gone so wrong, he finds a book. He finds this wonderful, wonderful book called Wilderness. And this book had previously been mentioned to him by April. We love April over here, played by Megan Stevenson. He finds this wonderful book played by, that April had mentioned to him in episode 2. And he reads this book and it just hits him. This needs to be my next movie. And the wonderful thing that Jeannie, the little genie in the bottle, tells him is she helps him figure out his mindset. She really helps him come back to himself, come back to who he is, but more importantly, where he is going. So she really breaks it down to him like this. She has a wonderful quote that I love, and it was, the past is gone, and it's gone forever. But the future is right in front of you. If you would just reach out and grab it. And that really stuck with Miles, because you see, once he had that moment when she opened up his chakras, whether he believed it or did not believe it, it did something for him spiritually that really ignited the purpose that he already had inside of him. So now you see him leaving his encounter with Jeannie with this fresh mindset and with this attitude that I can really take on anything and everything. So he's really excited about this Wilderness book. He's all the way for it. And more importantly, he also leaves with this realization that he's going to fight for Shorty. And that Shorty is his daughter. That's his nickname for Emma. So it's really important that Emma sees that her father is going to fight for her. And he tells his ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, Katie, in episode 4, if you want to fight for Shorty, if this is a battle that you want to go to, if you want to go to war for Emma, I'm willing and I'm able to go to war for you. And it's really important to see how Katie is trying to manipulate him with little things like, oh, are you sure you want to bring the courts into this? And it's really sad, in my opinion, that she's doing something like this, because he is a good father. He is somebody who's devoted and dedicated to his daughter. And I think what he said in the episode is very true. For so long, Katie has been on this pedestal. Miles has put Katie on such a high pedestal for so long in their relationship, even from when they first met, that everything that he does is to appease her. Everything that he does is to make up for his own the shortcomings that he believes he has, So I think that it's really important that he's finding his true confidence, and that's making him look Katie straight in the eye like, listen, I'm a great father. I know I'm a great father, and I'm not going to let you take my daughter from me. I'm not going to give you full custody without a fight. So I'm very, very proud of him, but I know for a fact, well, maybe I don't know for a fact, but I do speculate that he would not have come to this decision and this realization if he did not encounter Jeannie. So let's all give a hand of applause for Jeannie. I'm clapping for you, Jeannie. I know you can't really get a standing ovation, but thank you. A big ovation for Jeannie. So I'm really excited about that. But in addition to Jeannie, we have a lot of other things going on. And I'm going to tell you some things that we have going on our AfterBuzz network. So just stay with me while I go over that with you guys, okay? So, hi AfterBuzzers! Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans like you. But we need your help, of course. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more or all of our YouTube channels, okay? That's dramas, realities, sci-fis, comedies. Please subscribe, please subscribe. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made just for you, who doesn't want to be special and to feel special, right? And you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, do not worry about them because those are optional. So hit the subscribe button right now. Did you do it? I think you did. Okay, good. And check out all our AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did in the comments, and I will be sure to say hello to you and give you a big shout out on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans ever and helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. Alrighty, guys, that was exciting. It's a little different now you have this going on, but we will go right into our next topic. Guys, all right. Have you guys ever heard of the saying that pillow talk can really break down empires? I don't know if that's a saying per se, but somebody said it. Somebody should have said it because Rick is in trouble now. I know you see this picture of him and Amara, and it was so wonderful to see him and Amara really stepping into their relationship. You see them stepping into their relationship. You see he and Amara coming to the premiere together. They were having such a good time, you know? And it was really, really sad to see how things have transpired till now. So guys, I know you see the FBI is on the tails of Rick and Amara, trying to figure out what's going on, how they can not only nail Amara, but now their bigger fish is the cartel. And in all of this, Rick is still playing a very important role. Pillow talk ruins everything, right? Louis and Gladys are finally married. They have gone from soaking, I really hate saying that word, soaking. They have gone from soaking to all their creative loopholes to now being married. And even though they are married, they're acting like they're dating. So you see them having these moments yes, they've consummated their marriage, and yes, they're, dating and hanging out more, but there's still some lines that Gladys wants to keep apart. She wants to make sure that the boundaries don't get muddied, right? Because the entire purpose in them getting married was so they can have the ability to date without restrictions on how physically intimate they can get because of his Mormon restrictions and his Mormon background. So that being said, she wants to keep, some boundaries within their relationships, and she doesn't want them to dive in too far. But at the same time, they are getting really close really fast. So Gladys, just being innocent and sweet, shares with Louis what's going on with Rick. She mentions, hey, Rick has been going in and out of the office. He's saying that he's going to dental appointments, but I don't really believe that he's doing so because his real dentist is actually reaching out to us and telling us that he's overdue. Poor Gladys, she thinks that he's having an affair, or she thinks it's something kinky, something secretive and fun. Oh no, girl. It's something dangerous. And because she shared this information with Louis already had suspicions about Rick. So if you want to take it back to episode 3 at the premiere, when Rick had David, who's the co-star of Max Kisby. Again, Max Kisby is the film star who was killed prior to the film being released, right? So Louis was already having an inkling that Rick was feeling a little suspicious. He overhears Rick talking to David about Max's death, and he's like, is it really a suicide? So bringing it all back to full circle, when Gladys shares this news with Louis about Rick, he's like, oh wow, I already suspected, that he was having some funny business. We already did the whole pest control episode, going around sweeping Amara's house because they already had an inkling that something was wrong. And then when Gladys brought this information, in my opinion, I feel like it really sealed the nail, and it really put the nail in the coffin for Rick. So we see how that's definitely going to uncover. But as we're talking about Amara, we cannot neglect the fact that she had a big breakdown, and a big breakup with her and her nephew. So after Maskisby was killed, it definitely brought us back to a situation where Amara has entirely excommunicated Yago, and Yago is on his own. And she brings up a lot of things that hurt her. She was like, this is my premiere. Everything that you touch, she says to her nephew, everything that you touch turns to shit. And it really hurt him because he does everything trying to appease his aunt. But I really hope that this is somewhat of a wake-up call for him. And I think that sometimes when you have that opportunity to step away from your comfort zone, that's where growth really lies, right? So I really hope that we see an opportunity for Yago to grow. And in fact, he's already kind of growing, right? Because you see him developing this relationship with the LA Bureau. He bought some drugs from them, stayed over, shared his drugs with them, and he's developing this friendship. He even rapped for them. Y'all, did you guys, when Yago started rapping, it honestly came out of nowhere for me because I'm like, wait, he can rap? This guy is a full-blown, superstar, triple threat. Shout out to you, Goya Robles. You're amazing. So yeah, he was super committed. And he rapped for them, so he's developing this relationship with the LA Bureau. And it actually, again, trusting the synchronicity of life, everything is happening for a reason. As he's having this tumultuous breakup with his aunt, he is now developing this friendship with the LA Bureau, which now comes entirely full circle because now he's in a position to help Miles. So let's take it back to our Miles man for a moment. So Miles is in the situation where he's, now he's had the spiritual encounter, and now he has stood up to Katie and said, listen, I will fight for my daughter. You will not have full custody. I know I'm a good father. He's also found the book Wilderness that April suggested to him. Side note, I thought it was so cute when he apologized to April. I really like whatever's going on between Miles and April. I thought it was so sweet when he apologized to her, and the way that he did it was really kind. Because she was like, oh, you don't have to. And he was like, no, I'm going to. Granted, he needed her to do him a favor after. But I'm glad that he apologized, And it's great that at the end of the day, he might not realize it now, but every time that he has needed help, April has been there to help him, has been there for him, has been a safety net, bringing him back to home. So I think when they start to develop their relationship a little more and it becomes a little more serious, they'll be able to look back at the beginning of their relationship and realize that they've truly have started to develop a friendship that is really a great foundation for any kind of partnership and relationship romantically. But that being said, so Miles has found his next movie, which is Wilderness. He's super excited. It seems like he's just knocking everything off the bucket list when it comes to bringing himself back to realization, right? And the last aspect that he has to do is this face-to-face with Yago. Yago is now in a position where he's cool with the LA Bureau. Miles needs $30 million for his new movie in order to finance that movie. Amara does not have $30 million. And the crazy part about this is you can tell how much he really loves movies because at the end of the day, working with Amara was insane. Look how scary that was. Look at all the collateral damage that they lost in the process of bringing this film to life, The Emerald's Mistress. But now you want to work with the cartel? Oh my God. It didn't surprise me when Lewis wasn't behind on this plan because it's scary. Amara was bad enough, but now you want to take it to the cartel? Whew, Miles really must be a huge movie lover, and I know he is. So we're excited to see how he continues to do these things, But you guys know that we have our wonderful, wonderful segment that we do here, Mobs and Movies. And as we've talked about, all the different things that are going on in these 2 episodes, let's go ahead and transition into some Mobs and Movies where we can give you some educations on some real-life American gangsters.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. A real gangster type player plays his cards right. A real gangster type player never runs his mouth, cause real gangsterized players don't start fights. And brothers always got a high.
Alrighty, guys. Today we will be talking about the one, the only, Lucky Luciano. Charles, his given first name, Charles Lucky Luciano. So just to give you guys some details on this man, he's definitely known as the father of organized crime. That is a big name. That is a huge, huge title to hold. And it's because of a few things that he had going on in his life. He was born in Sicily, but he was raised in Manhattan's Lower East Side. Luciano was the facilitator of so many killings in New York. He killed a lot of the top mafia members in New York. And he was the person who was able to establish the 5 families who then ran organized crime. So the 5 families were the drug ring in New York that really facilitated organized crime nationally in the United States. Luciano was convicted of prostitution in 1963, I believe, yes. Luciano was convicted of prostitution in 1963, but he was paroled and deported at the end of World War II. So he was definitely somebody who was extremely scary. I know you've heard a lot about him. He was finally exiled to Italy. But the crazy part about that is while he was in exile, he was definitely an instrumental member in being a connector of the American mafias and the American gangs and the Italian gangs. So at the end of the day, even though he was exiled, even though he was, convicted of prostitution charges in 1963, he was still exiled to Italy, but continued to be this American gangster, this drug lord, even from abroad. So I think it was really interesting that even though we're learning about mobsters in movies, we're always bringing it back to this educational aspect as well. But if you've been watching our after show, you know we give you a little education, but we also tell you our favorite mobster and movie moment within the episode. So I'm going to do that for you right now. My favorite mobster moment within the episode for me was when Miles was coming out of that car in the beginning of episode 3. And it was extremely intense because he just had a huge car crash, ran into a pole. He should be going to the hospital, but he comes off, shakes it off like a real thug. He's bleeding. He can barely even make it into the room. And when people ask him, hey, what happened? He goes, oh, I was driving and a pole came out of nowhere. And when people are like, you need to be at the hospital, he's like, you should see the pole. So the fact that he still has so much humor and calmness and confidence and bravado, even in the midst of a near-death experience, shows us that he is a true, real-life American gangster, okay? And my favorite movie moment for Miles was when he entered, it was in episode 3 when he entered the cab and he had just found the book Wilderness, and it all clicked for him again. He started to read this book, and even though he had given up on his passion, he had given up on his hopes of being a real Hollywood producer, you see him hop into the cab and he gets to work like somebody who's been doing this for 20 years. He calls up the reps, he speaks like a seasoned vet, and he really shows us who he has become. And he says, and I quote, I'm Miles. I'm Miles, Hollywood producer. So he really had that confidence, and it was really a great moment to watch. So I'm very excited for him and just bringing everything back to that. That would be our special segment for the moment. So next time we'll be talking about a new American gangster, giving you some new details, and of course letting you know about our favorite gangster, our favorite mobster and movie moments within the episode. So next we're going to go into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Alrighty, guys. So the first news clip that we're definitely going to go into is our wonderful Amara, okay, our matriarch of the season of this wonderful show, Lydia. She's definitely talking to a reporter, and they're asking her, how did you and Davy Holmes kind of get together? How did you get involved in this project, Get Shorty? And how did you end up playing Amara? And this was the answer that she had for us.
At Wells Fargo,
Yes, so Lydia is definitely amazing. She's just a star in her own right, and it's wonderful that she brings this amazing confidence to the way that she does things. Lydia Porto, we are big fans of yours. We hope that you can come on out and hang out with us at some point and talk to us about why you love this character, why Amara is such an important character. But let's go into that clip. I think we have it for you now.
Walking around Pahrump, Nevada, wearing a fur stole over my shoulder. And Davey said, I have an idea for a character, and you could probably play her. And I said, but I would have to move to LA from Pahrump, Nevada. And he said it would be worth it, so I did.
What? wish that was my life. Do you see how much wonderful light that this lady walks with? She literally was just walking around, being her wonderful, fabulous self, and the creator of the show finds her, sees her, and say, listen, I definitely think that I have a character that I think you can play. And she's like, oh, well, I'll have to move to LA. Most people would have been like, my bags are packed. I'm already there. Like, let's do it. But I just love that. So, Lydia Porto, we're very big fans of yours here, and we hope that you can come and visit us at some point soon. In addition to this, you guys know I'm a big fan of this cast. I just think that they're wonderful people all around. And it's really funny because one of the cast members, Sarah Stiles, she's a wonderful, amazing singer, Tony-nominated singer, and she plays Gladys, our wonderful Gladys, on Get Shorty. So they were asking the cast, like a little Epix backstage thing. They were letting us know, who's most likely to sing on set, and this is what they had for us. I want us to check that out as well.
Goya, because he does these like rap poem things. Maybe it should be Sarah Stiles.
Sarah Stiles.
Sarah as well. She's got some pipes.
Me. It's just whatever's going on. Like, hey, lunchtime, yeah, let's go back to the trailer. Woo!
But actually.
I think Sarah is so wonderful. I'm just obsessed with her. Like, yeah, lunchtime. I can't actually sing, so I'm not gonna sing for you guys. If you guys are listening to us via iTunes, go ahead and hit that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, because 4 is just not enough. I really very much appreciate you guys being here with us and staying with us and hanging with us and all of that good stuff. Well, really with me and Josh, who's our engineer. But okay, so we're going to go into some predictions, guys, because we've kind of gone through the episode. So stay with me.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so AfterBuzz TV predictions. I think right now for me, my prediction would have to be around Miles. So in between episode 3 and 4, he kept having these constant daydreams, and they seemed like reoccurring daydreams. You had moments where Styles would pop back up, Blizz, would pop back up, and just weird encounters. You see Katie from 5 years ago, from when they first met, in her stripper outfit. And all of these hallucinations are bringing us back to a moment with Miles where he's letting go, in my opinion, of his past. He's starting to shed the weight of the past and step into the future. So for me, my prediction would be that, one, Jeannie comes back into his life, because she has been a metaphor for where he is in life right now. He's in such a critical transitional moment that anybody who helps him through that moment, anyone who can show him more of who he is in that moment, I think is really important to have around. So people like Lewis, who's just such a great best friend and does a great job of holding him accountable for his feelings, but holding him accountable for his mental health as well, is somebody that he needs to keep around. Jeannie is an important new friend that he has made, and I can tell that that connection is not over, because at the end of episode 4, you see that he finds a picture of Jeannie in her motel room. Even though the concierge wouldn't give Miles her last name, he's holding on to that picture, because I believe that he is definitely going to seek this lady out and find her, because she has been such an instrumental part of his growth process right now, because Miles was super lost episode 1 and 2, okay? Like, he was very lost. So coming up on episode 3 and 4, it seems like he's shaking it off, and he's definitely coming back to who he is and getting himself prepared for this huge fight and custody battle that he's going to have for his daughter. Which brings me to my third prediction. I definitely feel like Katie hasn't come to terms with what she has done, but not only what she has done, but who Miles really is. Because she has always had the upper hand in their relationship, like he has said as well, because Katie has always had the upper hand in her and Miles' relationship, she feels as though she can kind of manipulate him, right, and take advantage of those things. But Miles is not having it anymore. And I'm really, really happy to see him stand in who he is and be steadfast in his own confidence as a father, because he's a great father. Because at the end of the day, it's all about his intent, and his intent is to be there for Shorty. I understand that he has shortcomings. I understand that he comes from the rough side of the streets. I know, I can feel some of you guys' eyes right now looking at me like, what are you talking about? I get it. I know that he's a mobster. I get that he's a gangster. I get that he goes about doing things the way a lot of us might not go about doing things. But it's all about who he is as a human being, which is his soul, his heart, and his love for his daughter. So I really hope that Katie can come to, she can come have a really weird, serious moment with herself and realize that taking full custody of Emma might not be best. But if she does choose to have this fight, I am ready for it and I am Team Miles all the way. Alrighty, guys. I think I've done enough Get Shorty Rumble for one day. I'm very, very happy to always be here talking with you guys. Next episode, we'll be talking about episodes 5 and 6. I will be here. I'm your host, Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel. A big thank you to my engineer, Josh. And you can always talk to me because I'm always available to talk more and more about this show. I love this show so much. And we will be trying to get more guests on here for you for the after show. So look forward to that as well. In addition to more enlightenment, more education, I will be here giving you gems. Again, I'm Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel. You can catch me on Instagram at Thelmy and Twitter at Moxie_soul. Again, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.